Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bulletproof Beauty, and today we're going to talk about staying productive in a panorama. Before we get started, it is 27 degrees at my house, which is a high compared to yesterday. So I did my icy makeup look with this Colourpop Blue Moon palette. I will link that in the description box for you below. Can you guys tell that I put glitter in my eyebrows? So you all know that we're in a global panorama. That is no news to anybody, but the days are starting to feel like they're trudging by slowly. And the hard part about that is that we all have things to do, right? We have to stay organized and stay on top of it. A lot of us are working from home, and it's hard enough trying to remember the day of the week, let alone staying organized. So as someone who is currently working from home, juggling 2 jobs, and still trying to make a presence on social media, I thought it might be helpful for me to show you guys the tools that I'm using in order to make that happen. First order of business is the Clever Fox Planner. This is fantastic, especially for people who like the appeal of a bullet journal, but don't necessarily have the patience or the time to go through and create every page and every month themselves. Not only that, but if you're using this tool every day the way that you should be, you're constantly checking in with yourself. The back of the book is where it's really fun for me. So I'm going to show you guys here. The back of the Clever Fox Planner is actually laid out like a bullet journal. So while the rest of the year is structured, this still gives me the creativity that I want, that I wouldn't get if I just switched to a traditional day planner. So these pages for me include an entire year of moods. I did this last year, and it's the first time I'd ever done something for an entire year, every day for an entire year, and I loved the way that it looked. This is also helpful for me because while I'm in therapy, I can reflect and say, okay, I felt this way on this day. My color key is over here, and I can possibly discuss why I felt that way. For example, one color that really sticks out to me is these bright pinks. Bright pink means anxious. Why was I anxious on the 15th of February? On the next page, I went ahead and took the liberty of breaking down my 1-year goals into 3 months, 1 month, and then by the week. So for example, one of my goals this year was to pay $12,000 in debt. That's about $250 per week if I'm doing the math right. And I'm actually gonna skip ahead a little bit because I've broken my goals down this way and made them more manageable. I'm actually $400 ahead of schedule for this year. I have an entire page dedicated to my bucket list. And last but not least, I have a weight tracker and a debt tracker. But the best part about having a bullet journal in the back of the Clever Fox Planner is that you can tailor it to fit your own needs. And I still have a ton of room left in the back. The other thing I utilize to keep myself organized is notebooks and additional day planners. This might seem overwhelming for a lot of people. I haven't figured out completely how my brain works yet. I do know that I'm neurodivergent, I have bipolar, and I have obsessive compulsive disorder. So when I am looking at things, I have to keep them organized into separate boxes or the pages get muddied and my brain doesn't function. So for someone like me, it helps to have so many notebooks because I can keep every topic in its own little box. Now I know that we're living in a digital world. Crossing things off with pen and paper seems redundant, but it also feels really great. There's just something about actually scratching it off that's much more satisfying than keeping a mental to-do list or a button on an iPhone. Last but not least, I have a standard spiral notebook, and it's called my to-do wish list. I think this one is probably the most important tool I use to keeping organized. And it's weird because it's a to-do list, but it's also a wish list, and let me tell you why it works better that way. So again, as someone who's neurodivergent, I really struggle with keeping a schedule. I'm also bipolar, and so, for example, on mornings like this morning, I was awake at 3:30 in the morning. I was working on stuff for my shop. I was working on stuff for my YouTube channel. That doesn't happen every day. I don't get the same 24 hours that everybody else gets for different reasons. In fact, I hate that saying that everybody gets the same 24 hours. It's literally different from everybody and you don't know what's going on in their life. For me, keeping a steady sleep schedule is really important to my mental health, but it doesn't always work that way. And so I need to be able to adjust accordingly or I'll never get anything done. On mornings like today when I'm awake at 3:30, I know that I have extra hours to do stuff, but I'm probably going to take a nap in the afternoon. Other days I am scrambling and I'm late for work, but I know that because I slept in, I'll have more of the afternoon to get stuff done. And by setting this up as a to-do wish list, again, I don't feel like I have to get all of this stuff done. If it has a deadline, I'll create a deadline. But for things like cleaning the house or going through my coupon drawer, that's not stuff that needs to be done immediately. So it's going to stay in my to-do wish list and be less overwhelming that way. So I do also use digital tools. The four apps that I really love are Artful Agenda, Trello, productivity app, and then one called Loot. Loot is really great for money management, and I'll do a video on that maybe down the line. For now, it's just important for you to know that if you have a savings goal or you're trying to keep track of something, basically it's a digital coin jar, and as you add money to your jar, it drops. There's just like something satisfying about watching the physical coins build up. The productivity app is great because it's a digital to-do list. It reminds you if you want things to be done every day, once a week, once a month. You can set notifications for that and it'll say, hey, you have these habits to complete today. You can add stickers to it, you can add appointments, you can access it from a desktop, which makes it really great. It's just one place for me to collectively keep my thoughts. And the last one is Trello. Trello really is one of the best tools that I've ever used. Basically, you can separate everything into columns, you can create more than one board. If having physical lists doesn't work for you, but you still want to keep things in separate boxes, you literally can use Trello to create those boxes. If something gets finished, you can archive it, you can share it with the team, you can keep it personal. Trello is a phenomenal tool, and my life has not been the same since I started using it. Collectively, all these tools just make sense for me. It's hard for me to just use one notebook or one planner. I have to constantly be checking in with myself about what has been done and what hasn't and why. If I need help with something, if there's a phone call I need to make. I'm more productive now than I was before the pandemic started. I also like to use what's called the Pomodoro technique. Usually what I do is 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off, but basically if I stay focused for 45 minutes, then those last 15 minutes, I can get up and go take the trash out, or I can get up and go vacuum my bedroom or fold the laundry. Obviously, when I'm back in the office, that's gonna look a little bit differently. But for now, it keeps my brain from getting muddied with all the things that I have to do. If you're also someone who gets overwhelmed, I suggest keeping a pad of scratch paper next to your workspace. Sometimes all I have to do is a quick brain dump. So if I'm working on a project and I can't stop thinking about the fact that I have to run to the bank afterwards, I'll grab that to-do wish list and write run to the bank. And then once it's out of my brain, it's out of sight, out of mind, and I can continue to focus. So of course, I understand that my method might seem chaotic to everybody else. Hopefully you can find one or more of these tools that are helpful for you. I will post links in the description box of all of those programs that I mentioned, as well as a descriptor for each notebook and planner I use and for what. If you guys have any feedback, please be sure to leave it in the comments, as well. Like, comment, subscribe. Come back if you want to see more. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come chat with me. All of my social media will be linked below, and I will see you guys next time.